It's Monday, August 1st, and this is Drive Check, a Card Fight Vanguard podcast. So, do you ever go to Starbucks?
I try not to, but I went quite a bit. Actually,
Have
not
you
quite a bit, but
have you
yeah.
tried their new cold press coffee or cold
No.
brew coffee?
I don't really do coffee, but what's it taste like?
Why? Oh, well, then why would you go to Starbucks?
I don't drink it, but the people I'm with drink it.
Ah,
So my girlfriend found a way to make the Harry Potter butterbeer out of Starbucks stuff, so she gets me that.
okay. Well, so cold brew is different from iced coffee. So iced coffee, they make the coffee hot and then they basically pour it over ice to cool it off.
Mhm.
Cold brew is like coffee that is literally brewed cold, never heated. So it kind of has it's a much more like natural coffee flavor. And you're not supposed to put any sugar or milk in it. You're just supposed to drink it straight. And I tried it for the first time today just because I happened to be in a Starbucks and asked for it. The thing also about cold brew is they brew it in the store, and whatever amount they brew, once they're done with it, they only do it once a day, and once they're out, they're out. There's no more cold brew available. So they had it, and I tried it, and I'm not going to say it was terrible. I drink black coffee quite a bit. It was very unique. Very bitter like my heart. But also, it is more caffeine than I have had combined in a year. And
Wow.
I got to a point where, I don't know if you've seen that episode of Futurama where Fry drinks like 100 cups of coffee, but I literally felt like I could hear colors and see time passing in front of my eyes. It was like I've never been so caffeinated. It was absolutely amazing. But yeah, that was my adventure of the day. So we're having a time leap episode today, going backwards and forwards in time. Jack and I earlier today recorded an interview. Since this is our 20th episode, and we're trying to keep to a theme of every 10 episodes having an interview of an interesting personality from the Vanguard community, we have one. It's with Juan Alcivar, and he is a organizer of tournaments here on the East Coast, and you'll learn more about that and about the tournaments and how he organizes that. It's a really good interview. I was really impressed, so I'm excited to share that with you guys. And now it is later, and it's just me and Cole because Jack had to take care of some stuff. We're doing the intro. So we will do the intro, we will time leap to the interview, and then we will, after the attack, time leap back to the closing. Because that's how the Gear Chronicles work. Something along those lines. So I had a fantastic Vanguard weekend, but Cole, besides the abbreviated game that you tried to play with Jack last night where his mom kept interrupting, I don't know why she hates Vanguard so much, but whatever. Did you get to play any other Vanguard over the weekend or in the past week?
I did not get any chances to play Vanguard. I met with my friend earlier today, and I felt bad that I make him play all these Bushy Road games, and his game is Magic. And so I said, if you help me make a commander deck, then I'll play with you.
What's a commander deck?
This is probably the coolest thing in Magic to me. So it's a deck of 100 cards, and you can only have one copy of each card in the deck, and you have like a legendary creature, which is kind of like I guess it's kind of like a grade 3, but you're only having one grade 3. So they're usually more expensive because they have better abilities, and generally they like to mix in different colors. And with EDH or Commander, you can only have cards of those colors in that deck. So if a card had white, blue, and green, you can only use cards that had white, blue, and green on them.
Oh, I get it. Okay, so it's centered around that one creature.
Yeah, it's really cool. And
Ah.
I've played a few games, and that's probably because it's interesting when you only have one copy of each card in your deck besides like basic lands. So you got to get really creative with your deck building, but you can use cards from like forever ago.
Earning in all sets. Yeah.
Yeah, all sets. As long as you know they're not banned or whatever, like Black Lotus.
So yes. I went to Island Games last night and did the shop tournament, and I came in third, which is my first time ever placing in any kind of tournament. So I'm like
Very
so
nice.
hype.
Very nice. Just wait for that Skype tournament we'll have when we get more popular.
And the only game that I lost, so I think I came in third partially because I had the bye the first round, but the only game I lost was the first one that I actually played, and it's because my opponent was playing Gold Paladins and he had Ezreals to unlock those cards. So
was it Ezreal Scissors, right?
It was a different one. It was an Ezreal Stride.
Oh, okay. Whatever that one's called.
Yeah, but whatever. I believed him. I mean, it's actually a guy who I knew from a long time ago from playing, so I had perfect faith that he was being honest in unlocking his entire field and wrecking me. But otherwise, I won against a Dark Irregulars and against a Angel Feathers, so I was real happy with that.
What build did you say the Dark Irregulars was?
It was based on the new strides where you have to try to get up to 15 in the soul and the keyword.
It's a Blade Wings probably.
Well, yeah, I don't know. And he had like the 3 of Dark was one of the cards. That's the only one I noticed because I was like, that's not a person's name. That's weird.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, he had a bunch of skills. Like he was keeping track of the number of cards he had in the soul because he had a bunch of skills that like triggered when he hit certain points of cards in the soul, as the Dark Irregulars will do that. No errata this week. We got everything right last week. No complaints. No we were just absolutely perfect last week. So congrats to us.
Yeah, might as well stop over our head.
Yeah, no. Well, right. I placed in a shop tournament, so I'm done. I've hit my greatest achievement playing Vanguard, so I don't need to do anything anymore.
Time to move on to that luck and logic.
Nope. So you and I are going to be meeting up for the first time coming later this week.
Yeah.
We are going to Gen Con. I will be in Indianapolis on Tuesday. I think I'm going to be the first one showing up. And then you're going to arrive on Friday.
Yeah.
Correct. All right. And then we're just going to like play games constantly all the way through till Sunday.
All the time.
Yep. That's going to be awesome. So yeah, just a reminder, if anybody is going to be at Gen Con, come and find us. Tweet at us, whatever, give us a location, and we'll meet up and tell funny jokes and play Vanguard if you want to play Vanguard. If you want Nova Grapplers or Tachikaze cards, I am bringing a ton of them. I want to get rid of them. I don't like carrying around clans that I don't use. So just tweet at me. Let me know. I have strides. I have old ones. Be very happy to be rid of them. So let me know, and they will be yours. Okay. So you can go for the first news item, Cole. Our first news item of the week.
All right. So Refros has been limited, and that was the Angel Feather card, correct? What was the full name? Doctoroid Refros.
Yeah. He is a stand trigger. Well, I say he, but it's a robot.
It is a robot.
So, yep, Refros, as not right now because we're recording on August 1st, but as of August 5th, you will only be allowed to have one copy of Refros in your deck. Even if in the future it is reprinted, any card that has the name of Doctoroid Refros cannot be included in any deck. So the reason that Refros is being removed, of course, Bushiroad is never very clear on like giving a distinct reason why a card is limited or banned. It's like usually just like vague kind of description, but
It's too good.
what Refros does is for a Counterblast 1, and you put Refros back on top of your deck, so you put him back into your deck. You get to choose up to 2 cards from your damage zone, put them on the top of your deck, shuffle, and for each card you put into your deck, you take out the top cards of your deck and put them into your damage zone face up. So basically, if there are and then you draw a card. So it's a draw. You get it's a stand trigger that gives you a draw. And also, if there are 2 cards in your damage zone that you want to have available, say like triggers that you might want to use later on, or other cards that you feel that you need available, you can basically just take them out of your damage zone and put them back into your deck. And Refros also goes back into your deck. So I have seen people, like last night, the Angel Feather player did Refros 7 times in 1 turn.
Wow.
Which is just too much.
Yeah.
Because I think also one of the main Angel Feather cards, if it's in your damage zone, it allows you to counterblast 1 and basically take the 1 card out of your damage zone and replace it with another card. Obviously, Angel Feathers is always doing everything with the damage zone. So that it kind of broke things. It kind of made for very long turns. So if you're in a timed tournament, it's a detriment to your opponent because you're constantly referencing over and over again, taking up time and running down the clock. So Bushiroad has required that, much like the flavor text of Doctoroid Refros, which now becomes funny, the flavor text is, how about 1? Yes, you can only have 1. You can only have 1 Refros in your deck as of August 5th. The other news this week is in the Japanese non-dubbed version of the Vanguard G cartoon, Stride Gate, the Genesis keyword has been revealed. So no Genesis cards have been printed with a keyword yet. They are going to be included in Set 8, which is the one that comes out in early October. But the keyword, it's looking as translated as Revelation. And unfortunately, Cole and I could not find a good description of what it does. But it appears the internet is abuzz saying that this is the final nail in the coffin for Oracle Think Tank. Oracle Think Tank will not get support anymore. There's no need for it, and people will only be playing Genesis. And I don't know. I have a suspicion it's something to do with looking at the top card of your deck and doing something with the top card of your deck, but I could not find anywhere a clear description, and I don't watch the subtitled version of the cartoon. And I don't think, Paul, you don't watch it either.
I don't, but Professor Jack probably would.
He probably knows all about it already, but
yeah,
he's not here with us.
Yeah. Errata for next week.
There you go. So there you go. We have a nice errata to fill that slot for next week. We may have a bonus episode this week, since Cole and I will be together. We may record an episode on Friday night just to talk about our experiences at Gen Con, what we see at the Bushiroad booth, and stuff like that. So you guys can keep your eyes out for that. At this point, we're going to switch gears and Gear Chronicles, and go to the interview with Juan. I think that you guys are, anybody's going to enjoy it. He did a really great job. I can't say that enough. Talking about the East Coast circuit and how he's organized it and the work that he's put in. So I hope you guys enjoy that. It's about half an hour, and then Cole and I will be back to discuss the term of the week. we are doing, as part of our 20th episode, so every 10 episodes, we interview somebody who is doing stuff in the world of Vanguard. And last episode 10, we had Jack's pick, which was Connor Morgan, who writes for ARG. And this time we have my pick, which is Juan Alcivar. Is that the right way to pronounce your last name?
Yep.
Cool. So I've known Juan since I started playing Vanguard years ago, because he plays at Dream Wizards from time to time. And he was one of the nice people that helped me get into Vanguard and helped me learn how to play the game and everything. But that's not the reason that we were interviewing him this week, because just because you're a nice person doesn't mean you merit an interview. But because Juan has organized a tournament it's like an East Coast tournament thing. It's not ARG, it's not official Vanguard. So Juan, if you could start out, that's really what I want to hear the most about. Like, just can you describe what the tournament is?
So the Dynasty Cup is basically a tournament that I started because I've always felt that there was only 2 tournaments a year, and in Vanguard, every time your deck would be doing good, there's no tournaments. There's nothing to go out. You would go to like your locals and beat everybody, or go to Virginia local, beat everybody, or go to like Baltimore and beat everybody. But there was nothing to say to get everybody together and have one tournament to decide who is the big champion or whatever of the area. So that's really one of the reasons why I started this, because I just wanted people to get the opportunity to try out their decks and everything, because everybody has their one time where they're doing really, really good, and they're just winning, and they want to show out, and they want to put out, and they want to be like, I want to make sure everybody can recognize me as being a champion.
Cool. So right now you're doing the East Coast Summer Circuit, right? That's what it's called?
Yes.
And how does that operate?
So basically it's myself and the Dynasty Cup and Vongola. Shout out to Andrew from New York. That we are running basically 8 tournaments. So it's 6 tournaments in our respected area, and then we both split 2 tournaments each for Pennsylvania. So kind of like a little civil war within the East Coast here that we're having. So we have, like, I run 6 here. Top 2 of every tournament get an invitation. So we will have 36 players. And then those 36 players then will compete for a $1,000 prize pool for the top 8.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize that there was some money in the game.
Yes.
And it's done as individual, not as a team tournament?
No. It's not done as a team tournament. Now, what we are going to try to do is we're going to try to host a doubles tournament. So you know how they did that one episode of Vanguard where they had the 2 people fighting and then 9 life. So you would both be playing and you can guard for each other and so on and so on. We're going to try to do that tournament while the championship is going on. So that, because people come with their friends and everything, and you don't want to just sit there and be watching, you can participate in some other tournaments, or maybe just run some side events or something like that.
Yeah, that's cool. So that was during the Asia circuit, and I believe it was when they were special rules. I want to say Hong Kong, but I might be wrong. So you're running these competitions out of shops, just different shops, right? So how did how did you get the shops to agree to do that?
Well, it's really easy to, like I was explaining this weekend, it's very easy just to go to a shop and be like, okay, you guys want a big tournament and I need a place to host it. And, I've been really lucky that even the first tournament, that first Vanguard tournament that we had at, it was at Chibi Games. Now it's HQ Games, but the first one we had there was like about 30 something people that showed up. And then from there, it's just been going up and up. Like, we had one at, in Virginia, and it was about 50 something people. And you had people from Virginia Beach and all the way from North Carolina, all the way up to from Pennsylvania, coming down to that to do that tournament. So yeah, what was the question again?
How did you get the stores to agree to do it? But it just sounds like it's just been successful because you're bringing people in.
Exactly, I'm just bringing people in, and then they're happy about it.
So you had one, was it on Saturday? This past Saturday up north of Baltimore?
We had one at Superstar Card Gaming, run Justin Geese, that's his store, and we had one there. We had 35 people, and even that's the thing. I think we would have more, but one, the space is limited, and then two, that was the same weekend we were having it. We were competing with ARG, championship.
Oh, where was the ARG championship? Oh, it was the national championships.
It was in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm ignorant. That's okay. So Jack has like no concept of East Coast geography because he's lived in California his whole life, and he doesn't understand that like north of Baltimore is like the wastelands. So that's why attendance was so low at that one this week, and nobody wants to go north of Baltimore. So like that's like near Dundalk or some crap, right?
Well, it wasn't like north towards Baltimore. It was actually closer to the south side of Baltimore. It was
really?
like closer. Yeah, it's closer to Ellicott City and stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh,
because looks like Will doesn't know his East Coast geography.
No. I looked it up on Google Maps because I was thinking of going. And then once it looked like, because on Google Maps, it looked like it was north of Baltimore. And I was like, no way in hell.
Is that north of Baltimore? It might be, because it might be on the one side of Baltimore. I don't know. I know it's a trip.
It was like over an hour for me to go. And I was like, not, because I got to leave for Gen Con this week. And I had to pack and get ready. Not that I've done that. So you're doing this as a partnership with Team Vongola. How do you know those guys?
Well, I've met them in New York, and we talked about doing something like this ever since I found out they were doing something and I knew that we were doing. We've been talking about doing this for about a year and a half, but conflict with schedules and trying to find the right amount to do it, and just because it's not like it's not expensive, but once we found everything out and put everything together, we went ahead and said this is a summer that we're doing it.
That's cool. Yeah, I appreciate that this is firing off, and I hope it's going to continue on for more years, because it's really nice that it offers that local tournament feel without having to be part of the big, tournament circuit that might bring in extra people from outside. Because like the way that I've seen it, and just sort of being a local but outsider, is it looks kind of like a New York versus DMV rivalry.
Yes,
a little bit.
Yes, we really try to hype on that aspect of it, just because every time we go to New York, there's always been that trash talking of New York and the DMV, just like within the DMV, because that was a big thing here. You always had the people from Maryland talking about we're better than the Virginia people, and the Virginia people talking about we're better than Maryland. And then I kind of count Dream Wizards as the DC, because there's no card shops really in DC.
There are no card shops in DC. You are correct.
So, I really count that Dream Wizards as being the DC one, but just having that as just like, we're better than them and they're better than us, and and just going back and forth. That's really another aspect why, I just wanted to do this and bring it together. And it brings other people from other card shops to a place where they would usually never play against other people. And you're not playing the same people over and over again.
Yeah, that's cool, because then their decks and their play style, and it's not that hard to battle them. and I'm ashamed to admit I've been going to Island lately. I'm becoming a Virginia player over a Maryland player. Also, for people who don't know, DMV means DC, Maryland, and Virginia. It's just that area centered around Washington DC.
Not like what New York says is the Department of Motor Vehicle.
Yup.
That's what they like to call us.
So you typically go to the White Plains regionals up in New York?
Yep. I usually try to go to that one. This year might be a little tight because I have other responsibilities because I coach volleyball. So I might miss this one, or maybe just go to Sunday for buddy fight.
Yeah, I'm kind of annoyed because I was looking at either doing White Plains regionals or Atlanta regionals, and maybe even having Jack fly out to do one of those. Yeah. But it's like I have stuff to do both of those weekends, and I can't.
No, we're probably gonna do. We definitely are gonna do the Atlanta one.
Oh, that's cool. That's in late September, right?
No, that's early August.
Oh, no, it's now. Oh, that's when I'm going to be at
Gen Con. late August. Late August.
Yeah, so the White Plains one is when I'm at Gen Con. Yeah, and then the Atlanta one is when I'm going to be. It's doing student orientation at Georgetown, so I can't do that one.
Yeah.
So, ugh. All right.
Yeah, it's rough because they made them like literally. We had the New York one at the end of the last one, and then they put us right in the front again. It's like I wish they would have spaced it out for us a little bit.
Yeah, because it's like the East Coast is all at one time, and then we don't have any other options. Oh man, someday I'll be able to go, especially because like for the first time last night, I placed in a shop tournament. That's the first time in my life I've ever placed in a shop tournament, so I'm like ready to roll. I'm ready to take on the world. Oh, so how many more competitions are there on the East Coast circuit left for the season?
For Dynasty Cup, there should be. We have one at HQ Games in September. We have 2 in Pennsylvania, 1 at Island, and then there should be 1 more that I haven't figured out a card shop yet. Which I'm trying to see if I can get Virginia Beach because those guys travel. So I want to give them an opportunity to like go down and give them a chance. And plus, it expands us out.
Yeah. And when is the championship going to be? Do you have a date for it, or?
It's going to be in October, like mid to late October.
And do you know what spot it's going to be at?
Yeah, it's going to be in Pennsylvania since it's 2 hours for us up there and 2 hours from New York to go there, and the Pennsylvania people are right there.
So like Gettysburg.
So none of us have to travel 4 hours each way.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. It's kind of like neutral territory. Nobody cares about the Pennsylvania players, anyways. So,
but you know what? Those guys come out. They come out the tournament and they put a strong showing. Like there was the first team tournament. A Pennsylvania team was the one who won it, and so on and so on. And they've come and won tournaments in Virginia and everything, and they take titles away because usually I try to keep track on like how many Virginias won, how many Maryland's won, and how many Pennsylvania's won, or whoever else comes from outside and won.
Oh, that's cool. All right, so Jack, do you want to ask the routine questions, the profile questions?
I mean, yeah, I guess. So just kind of curious, first off, like how long have you been playing Vanguard or like other card games in general?
Card games in general, I've been playing them for a very long time. I started with Yu-Gi-Oh! Way back in the day when it first came out. My brothers got me into it. So, and then I left Yu-Gi-Oh! When I got to Maryland, and then I got really tired of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community.
Smart decision.
Well, yeah, it was a thing that people were stealing stuff, and at one point somebody got held up. It was at the Dream Wizard. Somebody got held up at gunpoint for Yu-Gi-Oh! cards, and I'm like, what is going on with this community? Like, this shouldn't be happening. And I just got tired of people stealing and this and that, and it wasn't a very good community. So I left it, and then I basically went and started people were playing Vanguard, and I'm like, what is this Vanguard? And somebody said, just go watch the anime. So I watched actually I watched like 4 episodes, and I learned how to play through the first 2 episodes, and I started liking it. And I went to Dream Wizards, and first deck I really wanted to do, I wanted to play a Royal deck because, of course, Aichi and blah, 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 and Royals, but they didn't have Royals, and then I ended up playing Kagero, and I've been a Kagero player ever since.
Smart man.
Whatever.
Okay. And just kind of going along those lines, I guess you kind of answered my next question being what your favorite clan was. Is there any other reason besides like it's just kind of the first clan you picked up that Kagero like makes it that Kagero is your favorite? Is there any other reason besides just it being your first clan?
I like the part where I'm for some reason I'm a very aggressive player. I like being aggressive, but I also like controlling. I've learned that about myself. I like to control the field, so I like the aspect that I get to retire. And now that I get to retire on my opponent's turn, if I have the right situation, I can retire one of your units on your turn. That makes me happy. So just the control aspect of it, and just being like, red and Team Valor and all that jazz. That's basically like that's me. So I really like the Kagero deck because of just that aspect.
Man, don't tell Jack on Team Valor because he ain't gonna hear it. And I'd like to say, if you're interested in control, have you heard of our Lord and Savior Genesis Dragon Amnesty Messiah? Because he certainly allows me to control quite a bit.
I'm good.
Is he a real dragon?
I heard about it, but I'm good. I know.
He's not a real dragon, right? Because he doesn't say dragon twice in his name.
That's fine. Whatever.
And just kind of moving on with like the whole Vanguard. So how'd you get involved with tournament organizing in the first place? And had you ever done it before for any other card game? Like when you played Yu-Gi-Oh, did you tournament organize, or is that just kind of a thing that started with Vanguard?
No, it actually, I used to run video game tournaments back in the day. A couple before I did Vanguard, and then while I was on Vanguard, I was doing video game tournaments like Madden and fighting community games and stuff like that. So I was doing that, and I liked it. It wasn't bad, but for video game, it got really expensive because you have all the stuff, like the TVs and all the card and everything. It's just too much.
Vanguard can get pretty expensive too.
Yeah, but you don't have to buy the cards for other people.
Exactly. I don't have to buy the card for people. I just bring it.
That's true.
But then I got into Vanguard organizing was, like I said, I had a Dauntless deck, and that Dauntless deck was just dominating. It's probably still one of my favorite decks to run is Dauntless. Just over and over and over again. Like I was dominating there, and I was just like, when's the next Spring Fest or whatever? And then it's like, it's not till like about 4 months from now. And I'm like, new stuff will be out. This deck will be out of whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I was telling everybody else they should run a tournament. They should run the tournament because I wanted to play in the tournament. I didn't want to organize it. I wanted to play. Yeah. So I was always telling everybody, hey, you guys should run a tournament. You guys should do this. And everybody's like, oh, that's a good idea. But nobody ever did it. So I'm like, you know what? Fine, I'll do it. So being as the older one in the group and everything, as always, I just said, you know what? I'll do it. I'll start running the tournaments and doing the tournament organizing and everything. And I ended up doing it, and it was a success, and people liked it, and they wanted more of it. And then at the beginning, I was playing in my own tournaments, but now I was getting to a point that I cannot play in my own tournaments because there's prizes and all this and that. And now I have to just take a back seat and be the TO. But
Okay.
that's basically the reason why I got into it, because I wanted to play in big tournaments and show off the deck and beat everybody and let them know that I was a champion.
And that's why I don't go to the shop anymore, because I don't want to be the oldest guy there. That's what happens when I show up. I'm not organizing nothing. At least this year. Maybe next year. I don't know.
Yeah, you got to help me out with those West Coast tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, maybe we can slowly work our way there, because I know for a fact that in I had a shop in Chicago. Card Fight, the Card Fight Underground. They were interested in doing some tournaments, and they actually wanted to get into the East Coast thing. And I'm like, oh man, that would have been great to get you guys in it, but
Chicago's not the East Coast. Not welcome.
It's not the East Coast, but I do want to get him into it. I do want to get him into a circuit thing where maybe we can branch off a little bit and get him a couple tournaments, so then they can have their players represented, and then move down the line.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely kind of something to work towards, just because because Vanguard's definitely like a popular game within the community it's in, but it hasn't really, I don't know, I guess it hasn't really grown very much since like it first started. And I think that is mainly due to the like lack of tournaments and lack of kind of support.
Well, lack of competitive play. Because there's a lot of people that want to do, they want to play it, and they play it because you can say, but everybody's just mainly like, oh, we'll go to locals and just play, and it's for fun, and or we'll go to a bushy event and it's whatever. Where I remember they put out a survey, and people were like, yes, we'll pay money to go to a tournament if it's 2 out of 3 and it's competitive and we get rare cards and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Which I wish, I could, if I was able to, if Bushy would be like, look, here are these printed cards that you can only get at your tournament, it would be ridiculous, because then I would get tons of people, because, if they would do tournaments like that, people would show up.
Yeah.
Wait, they do limited run promos at their tournaments, right?
Yeah, but those tournaments are only like once or twice a year, and they're not always because the reason for that is Bushiroad like refuses to charge people for their tournaments, so it's kind of harder for them to build more of a competitive scene.
They are just trying to, like, when I talk to them about, because I every time I go to a tournament, I talk to them and let them know, hey, I'm doing this, and we would love support, and we do get some support from them. We get some promos, and we get like some boxes and stuff like that, and I'm fine with that. But what I think is if they would go and have a tournament competitive series, it would be amazing. It would be amazing, just because you would have people just showing up. Tons of people would show up. I did a tournament, the team tournament. I did the team tournament, the first one, and I got 75 people at this tournament, and I wasn't even expecting that many. I really was expecting like maybe, because it's on the eve of coming from doing just the regular ones, and I was getting upwards up to 40, and then to get 75 people, and people traveling from New York all the way down here for a 1-day tournament event, and a pay one at that. It was insane. So I can just imagine if Bushy would put on their own like tournament.
Yeah, I think while I think the Yu-Gi-Oh community itself is not great at all, their tournament scene, at least like how it was when I was there a couple years ago, they definitely have like 2 or 3 regionals a year per area, and they charge money to enter, but you're paying $20 to enter, and you're getting like, I think 5 or 6 packs. So basically you're just buying packs, and you still get to play in this tournament. And then the prize support is always a lot better for those. Like, they're not doing cash prizes like ARG has kind of been doing, but there's still definitely more of a tournament scene than there is for Vanguard.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like with us, we don't have the thing to go ahead and be able to do like just straight up cash. Like I'm able to announce that now because we are just about to meet our goal in the cash sense because I got to buy playmats and I got to buy the certificates and I got to make sure that we have a right computer to write down to use. We got to get for this weekend we got to get not this weekend but for the next one we got to get a printer. So and that's cost that's on top of the stuff. It's not like right now we're breaking either even or underneath a little bit or whatever it is. So we're trying to get it to a point where the tournament can just fund itself and we can just be able to do that.
Yeah, and have the prizes funded out of the tournament definitely.
Yeah,
makes it more attractive to keep it organized and everything. So what other card games are you playing right now? I know you do the buddy fight, right?
Mm-hmm. That's about it. It's those two. I got Buddy Fight and Vanguard.
What?
Those are my two main ones.
Did you give up on My Little Pony?
Well, they just stopped doing tournaments. They stopped doing tournaments at Dream Wizard. So I still have the stuff, and I would still play it if I have people to play with. Because, like I said, I try other card games. I done Adventure Time. That was really fun. But there's nothing ever came up with a tournament scene for that. I did Force of Will, but it got too much, I guess.
Yeah, I've seen so many people leaving Force of Will now. Something about it. I don't know.
Well, in the sense, again, here's the thing with Force of Will that I thought it was. A lot of people were all hype about it and everything, but the people who really flourish in that game are Magic players. A lot of the Vanguard players don't flourish in it because you really got to think about building your deck. You know what I'm saying? They have tons of different colors and you have mana and all this other stuff. Where in Vanguard, you really don't have that. In Vanguard, the deck building process is very simple. If you're facing one Overlord deck, except for like one or two changes, you're basically going to face the same deck at the end result because the grade threes are mainly the same. So, it just depends on what it is. Where in Force of Will, you can have a blue and black, let's say, but it could be totally different than this person's blue and black deck. So, and right now, everybody's jumping on the Luck and Logic.
Luck and Logic, yep.
Is it? Yes, everybody's jumping on that one. I haven't played it. I haven't tested it out. Everybody keeps telling me there's a Kagero deck just like it because they get to restand. And I'm like, that's great. But with volleyball coming up and doing a Dynasty Cup and then still trying to be competitive at my at the other two games because like last regionals I topped 4 in Buddy Fight and then topped 8 in Vanguard, both that weekend. So, I'm trying to still be competitive in those.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you are competitive. I could never get that far. But it also sounds like you're saying that if I put together one of my MLP decks again, you'd be up for some My Little Pony.
Yeah, definitely. I'm always out for My Little Pony.
Because I haven't played that game in so long, and I love that game so much. I think that it's so unique.
The mechanics of that game is really, really good. I like the way that, people could be like, "Oh, it's My Little Pony," blah blah blah. But I'm like, just if you take the My Little Pony stuff out of it and just pure mechanics, it's amazing. It's really, really great. The way you interact with your opponent. The way you move your phases and you move through it's amazing. It's really good.
Yeah, absolutely different than any other card game I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what would you see as these are the hard questions? Now you've gotten through the easy questions. What do you see, or could you predict for the future of Vanguard? We've seen the announcements now coming for early 2017, but where do you see the game going?
Like in the sense of like cards or just overall
card
or like
play,
what would you
anything you could predict or think is going to happen in the near future.
I just think I feel like since they already came out with the G guards, there's going to be like some, because again the power creep in this game it goes really quickly. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's a very steady thing. You introduce something and then it just increases it, and now you have the, like I said, the G guards, where I think there's going to be something where you can stride, and then there's going to be like something else stride. So like stride, and then you'll be able to like stride again, or like ride something over it, or something like that.
Or stride a rear guard. That would be cool.
Yeah, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like it'll be in that sense. It'll be something where it's just gonna be, because again, like I said, the power creep is just ridiculous for this game. And also just let me see what else. Maybe I'm hoping maybe they could be like, I know they just introduced Gear Chronicles, but maybe some other deck, some other clan that can be introduced. I don't have anything particular. I'm just hoping that they can introduce something else to like maybe attract more players.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, it's been 2 years now for Gear Chronicle, or just a year and a half.
I think 2 years.
Yeah.
And they got like so much plot armor and.
Well, every
crazy.
set gets Gear Chronicle in it, and it's like that goes right into my garbage can. So.
And it's crazy. It's crazy because they are one of the top decks right now. Them and Angel Feathers are right now are top, and now Angel Feathers is about to get hit. But people are still not worried. They said they're not worried about it.
Yeah, being a Angel Feather player, at least for now, until I managed to sell or trade the deck. The Refros hit. It's like, it's good for the game because it makes it so in like tournaments it doesn't, like, you're not you can't go into time as often because you can't loop the Refroses, but overall the deck still hits super hard with all its combos and stuff.
Yeah, I'm happy for it because the tournament, or at least organizing the tournament. Like I remember one of our first ones, like people were going to time. And I'm just saying, like, oh my gosh, again, this round, again, it's the same. And it was the same people. It's like again and again. And they're just going, and it's just like, all right. And then we had to make a rule that, it doesn't count as double loss. You get a tie and this and that. So
yeah,
it's very good. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But,
well, it's over in 4 days, so.
Yeah. So what's the next question?
All right, Jack, do you have any more questions?
No, I think that's about it. I think we're reaching our half-hour mark.
So the one thing I would ask, so we do a term of the week every week towards the end of our episode. So what term would you want us to discuss, Juan?
What term?
Yeah, just any kind of Vanguard term that we can explain to people what it means.
You know what? Time leap. You know what I'm saying? I had an issue trying to learn how time leap works.
All right.
Alrighty. There you
that
go.
Would be our term
there
of the
you
week.
Go. There you go. Time leap. Like that's basically what I would want somebody, because there was a situation with a couple of tournaments, one tournament that somebody had an issue. They were like, there's a combo that you time leap and then you bring something back and then you put it, and it's like, it doesn't miss the timing. And I'm just like, look, I don't understand what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, just do it. And then let me get my turn. Because at this point, he just keeps going like, this comes out, time leap, and then something else. I'm just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's totally like a Vanguard player moment. It's when you lose complete concept of what your opponent is doing, and you just take it on faith that they're not cheating anymore. Like I was playing against.
Well, yeah,
I was playing against a Gold Paladin player last night, and at some point his Gurguit was up like 20,000 in power, and I was like, I have no idea how that happened, but whatever.
Yeah, it's like, it's really like up to the point where you're just like, all right, let me know when you're attacking so I can guard or not guard, and just do what you need to do, because it happened with the Angel Feathers. They're just going on, and you're just like. You're sitting there like, all right, man, just let me know when you're ready. I put my cards out. I'm checking my phone. Just let me know when you're ready, man. I know you're doing all this stuff.
Yeah. All right. So thank you for talking to us. It's been awesome. I think you did a really good job.
Yeah, it was good. It was
I
very
appreciate
insightful.
you taking the time to talk to us.
Can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
I want to thank you guys for putting on this podcast. Like, it's really, really great, and it's amazing. You know, I don't think anybody else is really doing it at all. So it's great that you guys are doing this and just educating or just helping other people with Vanguard, even people that starting or even people that are already veterans in the game. It's just great to have this because we need to get it more out there, and having a podcast is amazing. And, you know, and people can, it's almost like doing a Dynasty Cup. People can talk, but until you do it, you know, it's like, yeah. I just
now I'm
want
all
to say
embarrassed.
thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, we've got the same goal, right? We want to promote Vanguard. We want to get people an incentive to play, and we're just doing it by trying to teach people, give them something to listen to. So that's cool. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we are back from the interview. We have time leaped back. We have placed our card on the bottom of the deck, as Cole's about to explain, and we're back to our original unit on any rearguard circle that we've chosen. So, to start, so Juan asked that we have time leap as our term of the week this week, because everybody loves Gear Chronicle. They're just a fantastic clan that always needs support.
And we're gonna be seeing them a lot more often.
Yeah. All right. So, Cole, can you let us know what the description of Time Leap is?
Right. Time Leap allows you to bind the specific rear guards, and in doing so, for each card that was bound, search your deck for up to one card that is one grade greater than each of the bound cards stated. Or, parentheses, stated as grade +1, and call it to any of your rearguard circles and shuffle your deck. At the end of that turn, put the unit that was called from the field on the bottom of the deck, and if you do that, call the card that was bound with this time leap to any of your rearguard circles if possible.
All right, so just to blow up some of the terminology that is used in this binding. So bind, I don't know if we've gone over before. We have talked about it before, but just to,
we have.
To clear it up a little bit again, that means that the card is completely out of the field of play. It is not on a rearguard circle, it's not on a trigger circle, it's not on a guard circle, it's not in discard, it's not in damage, not in the deck. It is just in this whole other universe where it is not touched.
Is it placed face up or face down?
Usually the bind instruction tells you whether to bind it face up or face down.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Let's see. Yeah, they don't say specifically for Gear Chronicle, but most likely it's going to be bound face up because it's not hidden knowledge. Like I know with the Oracle think tank Uriele, since you are binding a card from somebody's hand, that's face down because it remains hidden information. It's only a one-turn bind. So you basically you have to have a card that has the Time Leap ability or a keyword on it, and you bind that card, and you can pull out a 1 grade higher card from your deck. So you can seek out any card that you want. You can superior call any card that you want, and put it onto any rearguard circle, and then shuffle your deck. And what's interesting is you can time leap multiple times in a turn. So if you have a grade 1, you can time leap it to a grade 2, and then if that grade 2 has time leap, you can time leap it to a grade 3. I don't believe that there are any grade 3s that time leap themselves. It's not it's not worthwhile to time leap a grade 3 because there's no grade higher in your deck grade 4s are only in the G deck, so you're not going to be able to pull them out of your deck. Usually a grade 3 that has Time Leap on it is asking you to Time Leap another one of your rear guards. And actually, I think the Time Leap, all the cards usually specify another one of your rear guards. You don't Time Leap it yourself. It's always referencing another one of your rear guards. But you can, as long as you can chain that Time Leaping, you can chain yourself up to a grade 3 if you want to. And then at the end of your turn, or whatever the instruction is on the Time Leap, the card that you Time Leaped goes back into the bottom of your deck. So also something to notice, that it goes to the bottom of your deck and you don't shuffle. So you know it's down there at the bottom of your deck. In order to move it someplace else in your deck, you have to look for an opportunity to shuffle later on, but the Time Leap specifically puts it at the bottom of your deck. And then the card that was bound comes back to any open rearguard circle that you want. It does not have to go back to the rearguard circle that it was bound away from. So an interesting question, and I guess we'll have to get Professor Jack's input on this, is does it come back as stand or does it come back as rested? Because if it comes back as stand, that means like more attacks. So,
or it comes back at the end of the turn, doesn't it?
Oh, you're right. So after
so then it would be it probably would be stand then.
Yeah, so you don't get more attacks. Yeah, that was something that I had to explain because people who aren't familiar with Link Jokers, and it was something that had to be explained to me as well, is when you unlock, you always unlock as stand. So that's like so key with Link Jokers that you can use unlocking to restand a card that has already attacked. So I guess you can't use Time Leap to restand, but possibly if you have a rested rearguard that you then Time Leap that rearguard, that might give you an additional attack. I have only played one Gear Chronicle player ever. It's funny, like there's like Gear Chronicle players here and there, but it's such an expensive deck to build that I just don't think we come across it that often.
Yep.
All right, so that's all we can say about Time Leap right now. I'm sure we are going to be full of erratas for Jack to correct for us next week. But I think that's everything we have to go over. Just want to once again ask that if folks have access to iTunes, that you go in and give us a rating and a recommendation to just make sure that we remain visible within iTunes, so other people who are looking for a good Cardfight Vanguard podcast will see us and give us a listen. If you are in another country, not the United States, and you have a different iTunes store, if you want to put in a review there, it's equally as appreciated as it is in the United States store. And just like screenshot your review, since I can't see other country stores, and send it over to me. You can email me, and if you also want to just email any questions or comments for the podcast, you can go ahead and do that. So I use the email from my other podcast. Shh, don't tell them. But it's Will, WILL, at pkmncast.com. And if you do email in a question or something for us, we will read it during the mailbag part of the episodes. Otherwise, I'd like to say thank you to Juan for taking time out this evening to talk to us about his tournament organizing and his Vanguard life and all of his history with Vanguard. And I just can't say, I know I said it a little during the interview, but Juan is definitely one of the people that when I first started playing Vanguard, he was so cool and nice to me and helped me learn how to play Vanguard that really drew me into the game. So I greatly appreciate that he sort of gave me access to this game, which I love so much. But also thanks to SBJ and Nick Burgess for all of the help that they give us in putting this podcast together. If you want to tweet at the podcast, it is at drive_check. And then if you want to tweet me directly, I am at WashInTheSink. And if you want to tweet at Jack, he is at drive_Jack. And Cole?
I am at Cole_McCune, COLE_MCCUNE. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Drive Check Podcast. Your desires will be fulfilled.
Hey, that's not what you wrote.
It's not. I found a cooler one.